Modern IT world offers variety of testing tools that can increase the efficiency of quality assurance teams. Today we will be talking with Paweł Leszczyński, who is a tester at Merixstudio, about Axios, a tool that is increasing the efficiency of our team and also helps us perfect tests that we perform. It's time to talk, a Merixstudio show about technology and business. Hello, Paweł. How are you?
Hello, thanks a lot. I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Paweł, if you could introduce yourself in a couple of words, tell us what are you doing at Merix, what is your role, in what kind of projects do you work?
Sure. So I'm a senior quality assurance specialist. This is one of my roles. The second one is I'm a competency lead.
Okay.
So I'm focusing on technology. I'm focusing on general strategy in the quality assurance department. I also help my coworkers if they have any problem in their projects. I help them with some technical decisions.
All right.
I also work with our engineering managers to set some technology strategy in general, connected with other teams, with front end, with back end, with DevOps. So yeah, that's it. Right now I'm in a very interesting project. We are focusing in this project on only front end side. The backend is sent by the client, by client's team. And we creating very complicated charts. We gather this backend. We have a lot of front-end tests, so UI testing, screenshot testing. It's pretty challenging to be sure that this complicated front-end is working on the same high level all the time.
All right, then. Thank you very much for this introduction. Today's episode is about Axios. And I know that Axios has been replacing some other tools that we've been using in the recent past. If you could tell me if you could introduce us first to this tool, what is it all about, why testers love it or not, and why it has been so widely introduced in our projects?
Sure. So Axios actually is a very simple library, and the main reason why we use it is that we can send requests to the backend in very simple and not complicated way. And this is one reason. On the other hand, it has a lot of useful things already implemented. For instance, we can easily check the response. We have timeouts implemented. We have async await implemented in working with this library. And maybe it's also important, our front-end developers also use this library. Thanks to that, in case of any problems, in case of any concerns, we can discuss with them some use cases or some solutions to the problem. But this is only Axios. Without other libraries, it can be hard to perform API tests. Yeah.
All right, then. Aside from Axios, we also use Chai and Mocha. Can you say a few words about it?
I got hope that you will ask about it, and that's good. That's good, because Axios, like I mentioned, it's only the simple library. We can send and get responses. so we only execute this sending. But
Okay.
Mocha and Chai gives us possibility to perform automated API tests in general, because Mocha gives us possibility to run those tests. It also gives us some test structure, but Chai is a library which gives us some set of assertions. So assertions, this is a very simple check. For instance, if in the response this element is a number or is a string, or if Mike Lisewski is a sales, and if it's true, everything is working, and our tests are positive, are success. In case of any problems, our child library will say that, right, this part of the code fails, and we are sure which part of code is not working. And so Axios, of course, it's very important, but without Mocha and Chai, it will be not possible to perform API tests.
Okay, then. And what kind of typical tasks you can perform using Axios?
So Axios combined with Mocha and Chai, this is a great tool. This is a great framework because we created, I can say, our own framework. We can perform API tests, automation API tests. Thanks to this framework, we can cover our API tests. I mean, those all methods which are post, get, patch, and delete. So the most basic and the most important API methods which were created by our backend developers. It's those all things can be simply covered by Axios. Yes.
All right, then. And we have recently replaced Cypress, yes, because we introduced Axios into our methodology of working, like you said, into our framework. Axios is used combined with Chai and Mocha, but we have replaced Cypress. Now, the first question would be, why?
Sure. So maybe a few words about the past. So it was really easy for us to perform and execute all the tests with one tool, which Cypress. It's really great for end-to-end testing, for UI testing, and it gives us also some possibilities to perform API tests.
Right.
But to be honest, it's not really prepared for API tests. There were a few things which were a problem in our process, in our situation. I can mention maybe the three more important things. So Cypress needs always to use a browser. So to send simple requests and getting responses, it's not really important to run browser all the time. We can do it with Node.js engine, but Cypress require it. It is built in the Cypress technology to run browser every time, and this point is connected with the second point, so the performance. Because we needed to run browser over and over, and the performance were pretty bad, and there were some projects where we had hundreds of tests, and when we perform our tests with Cypress, those tests took really long time. It was 15 minutes, 30 minutes, sometimes even an hour. So it was really hard to work with such performance. In case of Axios, it's not an issue. It's much lighter library, and thanks to that, our tests are much faster, and our developers can get information about their work much faster. They can fix their issues better and easier, simply. The third point is really technical. We can maybe later paste some example of code, but Cypress does not support async await, and because of that, the code is less readable. So to sum up this point a little bit, in my opinion, it's much cleaner and better to write code with Axios than in Cypress.
All right then. And so aside, because we've been talking a lot about the benefits of using it, are there any, let's say, risks or disadvantages of using this particular library comparing to other tools that are currently available?
I think that maybe it's not a risk, but it's really easy. It's really simple tool.
Okay.
It was our decision that after Cypress, which is a really big tool, they gives us a lot of libraries. We decided to use Axios, Chai, and Mocha because those three libraries are pretty small, and thanks to that, we can use it in a way that we want. We have no problem that framework requires some particular type of work with it. So the risk is it's pretty small, but the benefit at the same time is that you can add other libraries if you want. You can extend your framework, and thanks to that, you are more flexible, in my opinion.
Okay, you mentioned that it's simple and you can eventually add an additional libraries, but it sounds to me that it has its limits. Is it, let's say, unrecommended to use Axios in bigger projects? Or, for example, is it not recommended to use Axios in projects requiring, for example, higher security standard, OWASP, or so on?
No, it's not an issue. API testing, in my opinion, is not very complicated. Axios gives us those possibilities combined with Chai and Mocha. So it's not an issue. I think that sometimes in some complicated cases, you need to, for instance, write really a lot of code to achieve something. Sometimes it's easier to install the external library, and thanks to that, do it faster and better. And this is only concern that sometimes you need to be aware that you not have every possible command or every possible shortcut.
All right.
And for instance, you can install Lodash, which gives you a lot of external commands, and it can speed up your work. But like I said, it's up to you, thanks to this simplicity.
Okay. And are there any, let's say, industry-related limitations that we would need to take care of? For example, we shouldn't work with medical industry or, for example, energy industry. Are there, let's say, any that kind of limitations that we should be aware of?
No, if our API is a standard one, it's not an issue. We can cover really complicated cases. The only concern is the general issue, in my opinion. So from my perspective, in 95% of cases, it's the benefit of writing those tests, automation API tests, is great. The only cases which comes to my mind is when project is very, very short and you have no budget. Probably the benefit from writing API tests will not come very quickly. It will come after, I don't know, 2 months, for instance, after 3 months. There is a very beautiful chart which gives which shows it us. But after some time, after 2 or 3 months, we can cover regression with those automation tests. We can focus on other things, and during that time, those automation tests are checking our backend developers. Yes.
All right then, because I know that in general it's let's say like a common knowledge that API tests is like an investment. Yeah, if the project is relatively small, then software development teams neglect it. However, if we want to build something, let's say, bigger and more complex, where we will have, let's say, more inquiries, more communication coming through the API and so on, then it's, let's say, expected and even recommended to perform API tests, because this may limit the regression. So the volume of tests and cleaning up that will be coming afterwards. Yeah, so it's not recommended for small projects, but for medium projects and especially big projects, is like a investment which will be returned, so to speak. Okay, you mentioned that Axios is a relatively simple library to use, yeah, and it requires being combined with other tools, but in general itself, it's quite easy. What is the entry level of using it? Do you need to be second Paweł Leszczyński, having 30 years of experience in software testing in order to make a good use of it? Or what is, let's say, the minimum, let's say, knowledge weight of a person that could come up with a benefit within the project from using it?
Sure. So, in my opinion, it would be really nice to have some experience in testing in general, to have knowledge what should be covered, which test cases are really crucial and required to cover, which are maybe some kind of nice to have. It will be really useful. It will be really useful knowledge. To start working with Axios, in my opinion, will be also useful JavaScript knowledge.
Okay.
So some basics. It's not really complicated to start with Axios, but in my opinion, the general knowledge about JavaScript will be really useful. And in general, you should know how those libraries are working, how to perform, how to send this request with Axios, how to check some assertions with Chai. But in our company, those last things which I mentioned, so this Axios, Mocha, Chai knowledge is not an issue because we have a boilerplate. And this entry level, I think, is lower because we gives us a lot of knowledge to our QA specialists.
Okay, you mentioned boilerplate. Does it mean that we are able to do those tests a little bit faster than other companies?
Yes, in my opinion, exactly. Because we created boilerplate to gives our quality assurance specialist knowledge how to start with those tests. We have already implemented some continuous integrations setup. We give some simple commands which are already implemented. In my opinion, we save tens of hours at the beginning of project. Thanks to this boilerplate, we can copy it, paste it to our new project, and after some modifications, we can start working with it in new project. And we save this time at the beginning because this the whole setup project is always time consuming. In here, I think that we save some of it.
All right, then. So it's good to know. Boilerplates are usually related to front end, yeah, like dashboard screens and so on. And as I can see, we can, let's say, simplify or automate the repetitive work that is also taking place in testing. Okay, then, Pavel, thank you very much for this. Do you have, let's say, any final thoughts that you would like to share, some ideas, some recommendations to the market? As you know, we work with logistics, we work with renewables, we work with facility management, with financial companies, people who basically have higher demand for data exchange, for data display, and also for security of that data. So any final thoughts from you, something that you would like to share to our viewers?
Yes, sure. So we discussed Axios, Mocha, and Chai, but those are only tools, right? And I think that the general knowledge, the general thought is to simply cover API with automation tests, because we take care about regression, we take care about security in our project. And even for really short projects, in case of MVP, probably the client will continue this project in the future, right? And thanks to those tests, we are sure that when the team will change, or when backend will be bigger and bigger, we are sure that some part of our project, some part of our website will simply work, and we can more rely on our project. The clients of our clients are more happy because of better quality.
All right.
And in my opinion, it's one of the basics to implement automation API tests in our projects.
Okay. All right, then. Thank you very much, Paweł. And thank you all for watching today's show. If you would like to talk a little bit more how you can perform tests, how can you increase, for example, security or performance of your application, already existing or application that would be built somewhere in the future, please feel free to reach out. This was Merixstudio show. It's time to talk. Our guest was Paweł Leszczyński, our senior quality assurance tester. Thank you very much, Paweł.
Thanks a lot. In case of any questions, I will be more than happy to help.
Yes. So feel free to jump on the call, drop us a line. We are happy to talk, and please expect further shows yet to come. Thank you very much, then. Have a great day.